Hello, Disney Infinity Trainers. Welcome back to another episode of our Honoring the Top 16 series here on iStarly TV. This is where we are honoring the top 16 characters in our Disney Infinity Games tournament series. One of those characters who's made it this far is Iron Man. Iron Man is perhaps one of the strongest and most consistent characters in the entire series. He's performed well in season 1 and he's doing it again here. Now, why is Iron Man so good? We'll take a look at that in a little bit, but first let's recap how he got here. In round 1, Iron Man fought against Violet Parr, and if I'm being honest, I wasn't expecting much out of her. I was expecting it to be a breeze in the park, an easy fight where he could just blast his way to victory. Spoiler alert, he ended up blasting his way to victory. However, it was not without a very good and very close fight versus the incredible little girl. She was ruthless and she almost won, but she didn't. Now, in round 2, Iron Man fought against himself. He fought against Hulkbuster in what I thought was going to be the end of him. Hulkbuster versus Iron Man. That is a crazy fight right there. It was also very close, but I was able to outmaneuver Hulkbuster. Sorry, Iron Man was able to outmaneuver Hulkbuster and was therefore able to finish the job and advance to round 3. Now, in round 3, Iron Man fought against Rapunzel, who has shown her work, her power in the series up until this point. Unfortunately, though, she was no match for him, and he was able to, once again, blast his way to victory. Now, how does Iron Man win? Well, like I said earlier, he is a very balanced character. He can take hits fairly well. He has a nice little shield going on. And look at that, he can fly. However, I don't think his flight is one of the biggest factors for him. Yes, it's great that he can fly, but he doesn't need it. Iron Man is capable of dealing great combos, which is awesome. Or he can just blast his opponents, which again is how he's won most of his fights. The problem here is that if he's just shooting it like this, it's not very strong. His real power comes from charging up the blasters. And while it doesn't take long to charge them up, if he has a quick opponent, they might be able to get the better of him and win it. Let's take a look at that skill tree then. To further reiterate the idea that Iron Man is a great, well-balanced character, here we see a lot going on with his health and defense page. You can increase his flight speed, you can increase his running speed, you can boost his shield, and boost his health. Now, because there's so much going on with Iron Man, it's hard to invest in just one factor because you want to invest in all of them. And I think that's the great thing about him is he gives you so many options on where to take him. Next is his special, which I find to be very underwhelming. If I could, I would probably take this all back. I've never used his special move to any success. And if I could, I would just erase all of these points and put them into something more useful. Because what he does is he shoots a bunch of missiles, which looks amazingly powerful. But it's really narrow. It takes time to charge up. And then he just spams these rockets. And really, because it takes time to charge up, the opponent can prepare for it. And if they see it coming, they could just, all they need to do is get out of the way. And you cannot control him when he's shooting the rockets, so you can't aim him. And so, for that reason, it's easy for opponents to dodge them and get away before they're hit. This is his melee skills, which, as you can see once again, has a lot of boosts and a lot of additional unique combos to him. It's really just awesome. And we're invested here. We haven't gone all the way in increasing the damage or the street spike. But again, we can't invest in everything with him. He's just too awesome. For right now, though, I like investing in this strong finish where he shoots a blast out of his chest. as well as the grapple mines where he can shoot bombs again from his back. So his suit is just what makes him so good. And lastly, we have his ranged, which again, you can allow him to shoot from two hands. You can boost the power of his ranged attack. You can decrease the charge time. It's just, there's so much going on with him. And we've almost invested in all of this. We've invested in all of this except for the repel, which I don't find to be a big deal. So that's Iron Man. He is just a great character. I'm going to go ahead and spawn an enemy just so we can see how he matches up. And by one enemy, I meant 3. Alright, you see his shield is taking the hits for him. And these enemies just don't stand a chance. Alright, let's take a look at that special then. Okay, you see what I mean? Oh, yeah, you see what I mean? It looks powerful, but the opponent, they were able to just get out of the way and it didn't do anything. So, anyways, Iron Man's awesome. I love him. He's become one of my favorite characters just because he's so solid, so consistent, and I think it's a safe bet to guess that Iron Man will go pretty far in this series. Now, let's take a look at some bad matchups for him. Now, to be honest, a couple characters that I might be afraid of, one of them would probably be Joy. I think she's quick enough to get the edge on him, and despite the fact that Iron Man can have a good fight against her, her orbs can really put the hurt on him and stun him to death. Yoda is another one that I'm being watchful of. Yoda can, finish the game very easily, and because Iron Man isn't about dealing a lot of damage at once, he's just about dealing more steady, consistent damage. Yoda can take a few hits first and then just finish the job with that special. So really any character who's fighting against Yoda is going to want to watch out for that special. Now the last character, and the character that Iron Man is the most afraid of going into round 4, is a little bit ironic. It's a little bit ironic. And that is Hulkbuster. The reason it's ironic is because his name is Iron Man. Just kidding. Well, the reason it's ironic is because Iron Man defeated Hulkbuster in round 2, and he did so, Dieter would say, pretty commandingly. I think it was a kind of close fight, but in the end it was a pretty decisive victory in favor of Iron Man. However, if you look at that fight, the way Iron Man won was by flying around the arena. And because Iron Man's flight is superior to Hulkbuster's, Iron Man was able to get the upper hand in the end. Now this arena, as I'm going to continue saying in this series, is an interior going into round 4, which means Iron Man and Hulkbuster won't be able to fly as much, which also means that Hulkbuster and Iron Man, if they fight, will be confined to a small space. And I think in a small arena, Hulkbuster can easily dismantle Iron Man. So we want to be mindful of that. We want to watch out. And if Iron Man fights Minnie or Jesse or Jack, I think he has an easy time. But if he fights someone like Hulkbuster, it could be game over. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. Let us know what you think will happen to Iron Man in round 4. Is he one of your favorites in the series, or do you not really care for him? Well, I appreciate you watching, and